Welcome to Heli Modified. My name is Harry Eddy, and this video is going to show you a much simpler, faster way to access the handlebars to install our adapters. While I felt personally that the GoldWing was very comfortable at first when I sat on it, it doesn't take very many rides to realize that Honda's reassigned the purpose of this bike, and it's to appeal to people, I believe, that are into sport touring more, and that's very evident by the handlebar position of the stock bars. They're much further forward than the last generation. So that being said, once you put a proper saddle on this bike, it's going to move you back a little bit, and that alone made for a little bit of a reach. So this little adapter has been a real lifesaver and really made this bike an extremely good touring bike as well as a sport touring bike. So I'm going to show you how to quickly install these with all the precautions and without damaging the bike. And we're going to take it from about a 2.5 hour install to probably a half hour to 45 minutes. So let's get to it. Now there's a couple things we're going to need. We're going to need some painter's tape, and we're going to need a 5mm hex Allen with a ball end. That's very critical. It has to be a ball end. We're just going to protect a couple areas to keep them from getting scratched, and they're going to be right along that area, right along this seam and on the other side. I'm going to open the door. Now right under here, you're going to feel a little lip that goes down further than any other part. You're going to grab it here and there, and you're going to just pry this up. You can see why the tape is there to keep that from scrubbing. And I'm going to do this from the wrong side. But there's the other side. Now, the only two screws that are holding this console in place is right under here, and there's two push pins. I'm going to give you a close-up of this. You can see that right there, the screw and the push pin is right in front of it. So I'm going to remove those first. Okay, to gain access to this screw, you cannot lift this any more than that. As soon as you go up to there, you can feel it gets tough. What's going to happen is, if you try to pull this up so you can go straight down to that screw, it's possible you could put a crease here or a crease there, flexing the plastic, and that will ruin the paint job. So just a little bit and that's it, you're done. So lift it up a little. This is why you need a bull nose to get in there and loosen that up. There's one. I'm going to drop it right in there. And up front here is that push pin. Just pull it out and keep pulling, and there it is. Boom. Come over to this side, do the same thing. Put it right in there. Pull the push pin. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is as we pull this thing forward and remove it, we have to lift up on these a little. Okay, second word of caution. First one is to not lift this beyond right there. You can feel it gets really tough. You certainly could pull this more, but don't. The second thing is, do not try to remove this until it is pushed all the way forward. Make sure that's out of the way and that's out of the way. All the way forward. Then we're just going to pull it straight up. It comes right off. Wiggle this thing up, lift, wiggle up. Boom. That just saved you an hour and a half coming to this point, in an hour and a half probably going back. So you can see the beauty of this. This will stay there. However, if you have a helper, I highly recommend it. This painter's tape will keep everything safe. If we move up here now, you're going to see the two holes that hold on the plastic cover. Now this bike has already had the adapters installed, so you just have to follow our instructions. One of the probably I would say what would take the longest is to trim the cover. And if you happen to have one of these guys in your woodwork shop, this tool makes it a breeze. It's just ideal for cutting the cover, but it's not necessary. There's other ways you could do it with a hand scroll saw. Right here in our instructions, you have a drawing here that you're going to cut out. Now it's going to look like that, and then you're going to transfer it onto the cover using these two holes. You have to cut the holes out and line those up nice. Tape this, bend this over, tape that, and cut it. Okay, when your handlebar adapters are all in place and you've cut your cover and got that on, you're ready to go, it's time to put the console back into position. So the reason we tape these is just to keep this from getting damaged, so you want to kind of lift these up a little and get this thing started back. Okay, right up here you want to make sure you're all the way forward, boom, down, and now back into position. These look like they're in a good spot. So before we put the screws and everything back into place, we're going to look down here and carefully go lock to lock and make sure there's enough room for everything here. And if everything looks okay, we're going to go ahead and put the screws in. We're going to line up these plastic inner pieces and put the push pins back in, and then the screws, which we've put down inside here, remember. Tighten it all up, take the tape off. When you snap these things back down, you got to push them in a little and down, boom. And that's it. Hope this has been really helpful.